And for my very first piece on this segment of Poetry TV, I'd like to share with you a piece I wrote called Everybody's Got a Story to Tell. It goes like this. Let me show you my bruises and my scars. Let me offer you a ride in my cars or show you the places where I've spent nights behind bars. I don't care how far from grace you fell. Everybody's got a story to tell. Let me show you the asylums that labeled me insane, or the open mics where I rendered my last refrain. Rob me, please. I implore you to take away some of this pain. I don't care how far from grace you fell. Everybody's got a story to tell. Some have experienced hardship that's legit, while others have conjured up excuses to allow them to quit. And a few have caught the hell that others have thrown with the catcher's mitt. But I don't care how far from grace you fell. Everybody's got a story to tell. So mingle your voice and your story in the swell called humanity with its insanity, its vanity, and dwell in all of its piousness and riotous living. It's a well of misery and miserly dealings. I compel you to consider your dreams in the ivory ceilings. Ring the bell to be heard. No advisory board, no feelings. I can smell the heartache from the shakeups, the breakups, the rockings, and the reelings that you've been accustomed to. Try if you might, there's no flight from the heat of the cauldron to a mindset to quell the tauntings of the demons with which you wrestle. You tried to hide it, but I can tell. So if you've rubbed elbows with Gabriel or stood on Mount Carmel or plunged to the deepest, darkest recesses of hell, here's a point for you to pass on that you don't have to sell. You see, I don't care how far from grace you fell. Everybody, and I do mean everybody. That's right, everybody's got a story to tell. Hey, thanks for hanging in there with me on this segment of Poetry TV. So now I want to go ahead and put in some work. I want to explain to you where that poem, Everybody's Got a Story to Tell, comes from. That poem is actually the first part of a three-part series. There's three separate poems that I wrote, and together they all just speak to the human condition, but specifically they speak to the elements of the human condition that I feel unite us more than anything else can separate us or divide us. So regardless of whether we're black, white, Oriental, American, Native American, whatever our origins or backgrounds are, the one thing or the set of things that I believe unifies us are pain, suffering, headaches, heartaches, tears, loss. All of the things in those categories are what really make us one race of people, the human race. Because across all of those categories, we will sooner or later experience those. And for those of you that statement is not relative to you at this particular time, buckle up. It's unfortunate, but life will sooner or later present to you a set of circumstances where pain and suffering, headache and heartache and tears will eventually be made manifest. I wish it were not the case, but it's part of the human condition. As a matter of fact, if we do our homework, if we humble ourselves enough, what we can allow those things to do is to bring us together rather than to separate us or divide us. And so, Everybody's Got a Story to Tell is written for those people that feel like something has happened to them and they no longer feel like they're part of the team. They don't feel like they qualify to be considered. They don't feel like they deserve to be counted in or included in conversations or groups and social settings. And the poem speaks to those individuals to tell them, look, you've had some hardship just like I've had some hardship. It's not a poem that pits one person's hardship against another, but it's a poem that simply says we have all, or by the end of our journeys, we will have all experienced some things that for us in our respective minds and hearts and areas and spheres of influence are devastating, are painful, or are hurtful. And so this poem, Everybody's Got a Story to Tell, says, look, I don't care how far from grace you fell, everybody, and I do mean everybody, has got a story to tell. So I hope you enjoyed that poem as much as I enjoyed listening, as much as I enjoyed writing that poem. Again, it is the first of a three-part series of poems that I've written. And as a matter of fact, I'm featuring on this particular segment the other two of pieces of those poems and of that story. So hang in there, and there'll be more Poetry TV coming at you in just a minute.